This is Trendset of the Mind. That's Argos. Today we're going to be talking about the movie Await Further Instructions. This film is about the occult in relation to how rulers use the power of authority. So what is authority anyways? It exists in two main forms. In one sense, you have the apprentice and the master craftsman, the pupil and the sensei, where an unlearned person voluntarily goes to a wise teacher for advice and practice. The other kind is that which is forced on you and comes from nowhere except your belief in it, like fealty to a king or religion. Everyone wants to honor the founding fathers of America, who most, if not all, were a part of secret societies. And everyone thinks, oh, they were so magnificent, and if only we could go back to what they stood for. They were rulers, like any other, and watch my last episode for more on that. But they knew what they were doing, and they were also still under the orders of the elites. As a white, wealthy, ruling class, through authority, they subjected millions, all 13 colonies, and their descendants, whatever America would turn into, and so on, to slavery, which authorities will always refer to as patriotism. They wrote declarations, bills, and more, and spoke not only for themselves and other landed gentry, but women, children, minorities, and all future generations. No way, you're wrong. Not George Washington, not Ben Franklin, not insert heroic idol we are meant to glorify. Let me ask you this. If I were to write down on this piece of paper right now that everybody in my town has to give me a cut of their wages, and everybody has to start listening to whatever I tell them, and they're obligated to do that, how many people do you think will listen? How many people do you think would obey? None. How about if I called some of my friends over and they all signed it too, and we called it the Declaration of Fantasy, and we all decided to call ourselves Congress, and then we said, okay, not only this town, but all neighboring cities, they also have to give us a portion of their income, and they have to do whatever we tell them. We get to make the choices for their lives. Then do you think people will listen to me and us? No. I can't speak for anybody else. They never signed it, and it just wouldn't make any sense. So how is it that over 200 years ago, this small, tiny, rich minority was able to speak for everyone, and all the unborn citizens, slaves, still to come? What's more, the selected government and banker payroll experts and professionals go along with the globalism agenda to deceive the public, just as they have done in the past, as we are seeing right now, and will do for all those who imagine that authority is real with such strength that everyone else also shares in this dream-like state. They want your trust so they may play on the fears they give you to harness more power. That is what the machine, the house in the movie is. A symbol of their control as long as you're within its confines, as long as you are living in the system. There it will divide you against friend and kin until your spirit is thoroughly conquered. The more you are afraid of whatever worldwide administrators say is so terrible and horrific, the more you pave the road for them towards one new world order. If you think things are bad now, you have no idea what they have in store. Instead, think for yourself, use common sense, and you will see it is often in direct opposition to what man-made artificial law tells you is good for you. Don't be like the family members in the film who are so faithful to authority that they would never think of disobeying a command, even if it means hurting themselves and others. If anything, the frightening things are really The banking institutions that cause people to work their entire lives for something that is worthless, unless you believe in the paper and coins that they give you. Corporations that knowingly create tons of harmful products but don't tell the public, like sunscreen, baby powder, non-stick cooking pans, chemicals in your clothes, electrical devices. And the state, which causes the military to bomb X city, shoot Y terrorists, and spy on and interrogate Z individual because they're being too much of a troublemaker. Or the same chain of command that demands someone in uniform, law enforcement, should assault someone else because their badge has been blessed by the authority god, so now they can pull over cars and ticket people or beat them if they have an attitude of anything other than subservience. Let's not leave out the tax collector, who is allowed to exploit the populace by taking your money, but if you try and keep it, you're an unlawful tax cheat, and if you steal like them, then you're a criminal. Overall, politicians use their pawns to do things that everyone else can't because of the magical process of politics that only confers mystical energy upon them. Remember though, when you gave your consent to be governed? Oh, that's contradictory? That's contradictory? Let it be plain. You are either a free human being or you are governed and therefore organized into whatever hole your master places you in. Be happy about that though. Don't rebel. At this point, if you're starting to put two and two together and questions are coming up, just like they should with any rational human being who doesn't accept everything told to him or her, then I give a much more comprehensive breakdown in my second book of the Ponzi scheme, the mafia racket, the monopolist industry that we are made to revere, put our hand over our heart, and salute to.